and young women in Kisumu County are stepping into the limelight to take their spot in the heart of the community. Through the She Leads program, they are shaking off outdated perceptions, breaking barriers, and overcoming monumental challenges to live out bold and inspiring lives. Their transformative stories show what is possible when we empower our girls and women to lead communities from the front. She Leads, a joint program initiated by Plan International Netherlands and executed in Kisumu West and Seme sub-counties by Pamoja CBO, operates across 3 interconnected domains to achieve its mission. 1. The civil society domain, which focuses on enhancing the collective action of girls and young women in a gender-responsive civil society. 2. The socio-cultural domain, that promotes the acceptance of positive social gender norms. 3. The institutional domain, which enables meaningful participation of girls and young women in decision-making within political institutions.
In the She Leads project, we amplify the voices of girls and young women, advocating for issues affecting girls, issues around teenage pregnancy, sexual gender-based violence. We are advocating for girls and young women in seeing them in leadership spaces. We want to see community transformation through the social norms. We want to embrace the positive ones and do away with the negative ones that are affecting girls.
The main objective of She Leads stems from the rationale that girls and young women are left out of decision-making platforms. So when the project was being crafted, it was coming in to work with girls and young women, work with civil society organizations, work with government, and these and communities as well. And these 4 people, if they work jointly together, we were going to carry out advocacy, we are going to sensitize communities so that they begin to be very deliberate in allowing girls to become leaders, to voice out their issues and to be heard. And the government becomes responsive, even in terms of laws, in terms of service provision, to the issues that the girls are raising.
The She Leads program, I would say, we have come a long way. From when we started in 2021, we grappled with the thought of how would people just receive a program that is only doing advocacy? Because when you talk about girl program or girl child programs, we're looking at the service provision angle of it, where we're either distributing pads or taking them to school or giving some sort of service. But then it's amazing to see how much we have been able to achieve so far in terms of, one, there's a lot of behavioral change. Addressing socio-cultural norms is more on a behavior change. How are people changing their perspective towards engaging girls and young women, listening to girls, involving girls in decision-making spaces, advocacy also on influencing policy changes. In Kisumu, for example, in a technical working group at the county level, even at the national level, they will ask where is She Leads, because we have shown them that engaging girls or involving girls at this level, it brings so much value.
Tunasemanga nothing for us without us. So kama unataka kitu ifanyike pale kwa community, kama kuna organization imekuja na a different issue ama kuna na hizo issues zina fall kwa vitu zina affect youth ama girls and young women, they will inform you, then utaenda pale. But hiyo itakuja tu kama umekuwa rafiki na hao. Kama umekuwa rafiki wa chief, umekuwa rafiki wa village elders, umekuwa rafiki wa CHVs.
So through She Leads, at least we've had girl-led sessions that are being led with different girls. Not only me as the leader, but the other girls too have been empowered enough. We do hold community dialogues. As for girls meet on a Sunday, we plan on what we are going to do on a weekday, and then we engage the community. For the community, we have a special way of mobilizing the community. We ensure we reach the women through a link person, the men, and we're also not leaving the male champions out to ensure there's a lot of inclusivity in what we are doing.
I used to see the organization coming up and down, supporting life of the girl child. So I do ask myself, what about we boy child? what can we do concerning the life of our sisters as well? Because if somebody can come from outside to support your sister, what can you do as the real person or as the real brother to your sister? My major duty or roles is to encourage my fellow boys or youth in general to support the life of our fellow sisters within the community.
The program has really helped us as men to involve with the parents, the village elders, and they don't resist in most cases because they love change in the community, especially chief. Chief anapenda sana mwenye anamsaidia kwa kazi. So akipata kuna mtu anamsaidia kwa kazi ya kubadilisha community, Chief will be very happy.
We are in a sugar belt area where GBV cases is 100% found. Many cases come about because of where we live and the nature of the activities that there are. We have sugarcane cutters. We have sugarcane owners, we have sugarcane weeders and loaders. They sometimes lure our young ladies to these cases, whereby we found there is a school dropout. Many of our ladies are not making it to Form 4. Standard 6, they are married. That is when I came up with a group of young ladies and young mothers. In the course of our actions, the she leads came and took over. So for a period of now 2 or 3 years, we've been working together with the she leads. I am happy to announce today that 60% of GBV cases are addressed, unlike before, where 70% were never reported. And these days, they are reported, and we are doing a follow-up until they are addressed.
I was introduced to a program by the girls called the She Leads. I've been joining them in their program. Maybe if they call the meetings in the village, they call the meetings the safe spaces. Wanakaa nao, wanajifunza. Hata wengine pia wanakuja. Wakikaa naona wengine wanauliza what is happening there. So the number keeps on adding. Sasa kuna hizi vitu huwa wanafundisha watu kama early pregnancy, hizi SGBV wanajifundisha hapo, na how to go and report anything in case imefanyika. Juu kitambo walikuwa nasema a girl cannot do anything in the house. Sasa hizo vitu za stigma pia niliona kama walifundishwa wakatolewa hapo.
Based on learnings during implementation, the program introduced a game-changing resourcing model, offering a unique approach for girls to lead interventions in the community, resulting into proud moments along the way.
Currently, we've implemented She Leads for the last 2.5 years, but as a project, we realized that the main challenge in terms of girls having activities within the community was inadequate resources. And looking at state and non-state actors, girls are not getting much resources they need to be able to conduct activities within the community. So we came up with a model which is called direct resourcing. Direct resourcing is where, as an organization, we give girls through their groups, we give them funds to be able to conduct activities that they plan through their groups.
Girls being given the direct resourcing has been quite helpful as compared to before, since you find that in organizations they have bureaucratic nature, they need approval and confirmation before activities are done. So girls being given direct resourcing has been quite helpful, since you find that we are able to hold up our activities and support them effectively. Again, on that matter, we have there's an aspect of transparency and accountability.
I knew about She Leads through social media platform. It inspired me so that I can bring other girls on board and save the other girls who are going through what I went through. At first, when I called them in a safe space, majority came. Then when they realized that we were mostly dealing with lobby and advocacy, no tangible benefits, they decided to run away. So the second time, they were very few. The third time, the number was continuing to diminish. So the idea of introducing football for these girls triggered into my mind. So I just decided, simply because these youth, most of the 18 and above, those 15, who are already sexual active and they're energetic. So I decided to invest their energy in a football match. Then when we started the sports, the football match, those who had run away came back, and now we are a good number, and we are doing it at the best. Recently, our ward MCA came and told us that every Saturday we are going for the games, he will be giving us a refreshment. So even he brings pads for the girls, just to motivate the girls. And girls are constant there, they're not going. Which help us even in terms of mental health, as in some of the girls have already given birth, some are survivors, maybe defilement, survivors for defilement, some are survivors for rape. So they are disturbed psychologically. But when we bring them together, we play ball, they're thinking about nothing. Once their brain is just working on that sporting activity, they forget about the incident they went through. So I think it also helps in mental health maintenance. It has propelled us to so many opportunities. For instance, there is the Russia hospital here, which gave some girls who had the good grades to go to KMTC. They were sponsored. So we also came across an organization called Kenyatta Trust. We applied for grants. The grants failed, but we were given a loan of 50,000, of which we'll be completing to pay in November 6th.
The She Leads program is making deliberate efforts to enhance meaningful engagement of girls and young women within the civil society space and to participate in decision-making within political institutions by collaborating with local non-state actors and relevant county departments within Kisumu.
With She Leads, we have been giving them opportunities in terms of capacity building whenever we have workshops. Like one of them called Samim, who is, I think, their leader within the Chemelil region. Moroni, the whole of Moroni, is one of our members, and she was appointed as the finance officer. It was not a competitive process because we wanted to amplify the voices of the girls and give them opportunity. And since we saw they are already competent enough and passionate in their work in terms of protecting the girls and supporting them, we saw it's an opportunity that we would use to also escalate what they are doing, and because that is in line with what we do in our spaces.
Right now we have youth advocates that are trained, and they're able to present themselves within the different spaces and are able to speak for their own, on their own. Then secondly, now the youth advocates now attending the public participation, and them even now forming their own groups, organized groups, young girls organized groups, and these groups, they are able now to operate on their own. They have their economic empowerment programs that are running, and they're also able to do follow-ups with the government social protection units, where they're able to also get this other like youth fund, and also there are registered groups that can be able to access all this.
One of my roles as a CEC is to make policies. I was privileged to be at the Assembly in the last 5 years, in the first term of His Excellency Governor Nyong'o. At the Assembly, we passed a fund, trade fund, that was around 100 million was put in that account. Also before, in the first government, there was a revolving fund that was within the county. So since I got into the office, I've been doing a follow-up, because the revolving fund was specifically meant for women and girls. Of course, the trade fund is now general for everybody. But the revolving fund, there was a misunderstanding that it was taken from the gender department and taken to trade. So of course, I've started pushing the money to come back to the department. Once we have the money with us, we'll be able to support them. However little the county can manage to support the girls. You know, there are some girls, if they get even just 5,000, they are good to go with their business. Somebody just gets 10,000, they are good to go with their business. I want to see many girls taking hold of leadership positions, doing best what they can, they know, and making good use of their lives. So we'll have girls to testify in 4 years' time that within this period I've been able to do this, and there'll be so many in Kisumu County.
For the last 3 years, the program has reached 2,581 girls and young women, 354 male champions, and 220 community leaders in a bid to increase the sustained influence of girls and young women in decision-making and the transformation of gender norms in formal and informal institutions.
I've seen people respecting a girl that is empowered and has information.
They are very brave. They can boldly come to my office and say, admin, this is happening and it is wrong. We need to address it.
We have even some girls who are represented in the Mjikumis. Apart from that, we had our girls from Seme taking part in the committees led by the CDF, the NG-CDF for the county.
Now they have blossomed, they're able to speak in these spaces, they're able to take charge, they know when there's a public participation happening, they follow up through the advocacy action. With or without the program, this girl now knows the processes they can follow to influence a particular process, or the actions to take to participate in a public participation, yeah? Yes.
The girls and young women in Kisumu County have demonstrated resilience and determination to overcome the limitations of their communities and participate in shaping gender-responsive policies, societal norms, and practices. They hold forth as shining examples of what is possible in an equitable world, where girls are free and elevated to equally participate in forging stronger communities. As we journey forward, let us remember that their voices matter, their dreams are valid, and their leadership is the future we all aspire to.
Condom. Kingdom. Sharon. Freedom ni hapa. Freedom ni kichwa. Wisdom ni mabega.